Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Healer's Hut. Today, I have for you black basil. Bam lamb. I will never get tired of music puns. I'm sorry. So, this little beauty is a cultivar of regular basil. You know, the basil that you find in all of your Italian food and whatnot. So this is what our episode is about today and all of the medicinal uses. So yes, this can be used actually like regular basil. You can use it in your salads. You can make a pesto with it. It has a lot of culinary uses. That's not why it's on today's episode, because we're not a cooking channel, as much as maybe I would have liked to have done that. I chose this path instead. No, I want to go over actually a lot of the medicinal uses for this, because this is actually a very, very helpful little plant to have, if I put it. So regular basil in and of itself has a long and storied history that I found while trying to get you information on this little fella. The Victorians used basil, and they actually worked it into their flower language, and one of it meant a couple different things. One of which was gentlemen would give a lady basil in hopes that she would fall in love with him and would never leave him. It's funny when I read that, because that sounds a little bit more like magic rather than like Victorian love language or Victorian flower language. So that was really interesting. I didn't do a deep dive on this. This was from a kind of a brief history of basil and some of the stuff that came about. Also, a lady who was willing to receive suitors would put out a pot of basil on her balcony and let them know that, she was ready to receive them. So this is by far one of my favorites. So the Greek and Roman physicians believed that to have a good basil crop, you needed to shout and curse while sowing the seeds. That's my favorite one. Maybe I should have done that while I was planting. Maybe they would be doing better. So this tradition, there is a phrase that needs to come back, and it is "seme le basilic." And this phrase translates to sowing the basil, which would then eventually come to mean you were a raving lunatic. So yeah, "seme le basilic." So dark opal, this specific type of basil, is a hybrid that was cultivated and developed by John Sharchuk and Joseph Lent at the University of Connecticut in the 1950s. This plant actually has a lot of is actually really good for a lot of vitamins and minerals. So it's got vitamin K, which helps with blood clotting, vitamin C, which helps the immune system, beta carotene, which can be converted into vitamin A, which helps with organ functions, eyesight. If you'd always hear eat your carrots so that you'll have good eyesight. That's a vitamin A. It's got antioxidant properties. It's got small amounts, but they are there of magnesium, potassium, calcium, and iron. And it has actually quite a few properties to it for medicinal and just general pest repellent, which is actually another reason why I wanted to do this, because we are in summer, we are in mosquito season for most of us, and it's actually a handy little plant to have not only in your garden, but maybe on your patios and whatnot. So this doesn't have that really kind of sharp scent that regular basil has. I don't know how I would describe it. To me, it just reminds me of summer and like home, because we would always plant the basil, but it's that kind of sharp, I don't want to say pungent, but maybe kind of pungent. Just like earthy. Maybe earthy is the word I'm looking for. It doesn't have that kind of smell. The smell is described a lot of different ways. And I was actually surprised. So I don't know if this is just how other people can interpret the smell, because it says the leaves have, this is what I found. The leaves have a clove-like scent. They may smell sweet or savory or earthy, and have a flavor of either anise or licorice, ginger, cinnamon, clove, and mint. And no, see, this to me smells like regular basil. Like, it's not as potent, like, it's not as strong, but it definitely smells like regular basil to me. Like, it doesn't smell like cinnamon or, yeah, no, it's just maybe not as strong to me. But this smells like, it smells like regular basil to me. Um, so maybe it's just how different people can interpret the scent, or maybe does it taste different? I don't know. Let's see. This plant has been sitting in our sunroom, so I had brought it into film a while ago. Let me just rub some of the dirt off. No, tastes like basil. It's not as potent. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, it might have a little bit of a cinnamony, like kind of when it hits the back of your tongue, maybe a little bit of a cinnamon esque taste, but otherwise it just tastes like basil to me. It's not as strong. Like, that's the only thing I would say is that it's not as potent tasting as like traditional basil. Um, but to me, yeah. So, but what's really nice is that this little plant actually, and I don't know if this applies to regular basil because I was specifically looking up dark opal basil. But it actually aids in digestion. So this specific little plant has a lot of things. The biggest one being that this is really good for stomach ailments. So you can make a tea out of the leaves and you can use it for stomach ailment, for like diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, constipation, all those things, it's like natural Pepto-Bismol. But that just what you wanted to hear. But no, but really that's what it is. You can either chew on the leaves themselves, or you can you can make a tea out of them. The only thing is it doesn't specify if it has to be fresh leaves or dried. I would assume it could be both. And you can drink it as a tea to help with digestion. So it is a digestive aid. What are the aperitifs, I think, are like the liquors that help you digest after dinner. You could think of it kind of like that. Oh yeah, you can also use this if you have stomach cramps. I had everything written out. I don't know why I bother, because I don't follow transcripts and scripts. I just go. Anyway, so what's also really nice about this is that if you don't have a garden, this is actually a really good addition to your potted plants on your patio, because this is also a natural bug repellent. So if you do have a garden and you have room still, try planting this, or maybe other basil as well, in among your tomato plants, because it is supposed to repel pests off the plants themselves. But you can also intersperse it with your like marigolds or your mint, maybe even your lavender, as pest repellent for deers and rabbits, because they won't eat this. The other thing is it's also a natural bug repellent, so you can plant it along your patio, as like I was trying to get to, but you can also take the leaves. So say you have a mortar and pestle, or you just wanted to like rip the leaves off and try and rub them on your skin, or carry them with you, or make a natural bug spray, you can also use the leaves for this. Now, it also mentions you can use basil oil for your natural bug sprays. I will make a point in saying, as I did in the little short that I will try and put somewhere around here, on lavender and mint, you need to make sure it is pure basil oil if you can find it. I've never looked for it, so I've never actually found it. But the reason being it has to be pure oil is that you actually want it to work. It can't be synthetic. So that's generally why you want to make sure these are usually pure natural oils and not synthetic, especially in something like this, because the properties are going to be different from a synthetic oil to a natural oil. So always try to see if you can find the natural pure plant oils. Um, what I found interesting, and I don't know if you would actually try this, but this is also good for acne treatment. Now, let me see, does it say here? So this is good for boosting your immune system and combats aging and skin ailments because it's also an antibacterial agent. Um, and you can also use this to treat insect bites. Now, it never actually said if you take the leaves and rub them like onto your skin. Is it from eating them? Um, that was never actually specified. It was really difficult to find some of this information because either I got information on regular basil or it was like, hey, you want to buy this plant? And I'm like, but I have it. I don't, like, I want to know what it's used for. Um, you know, not just, here, you can buy it here and this is how you plant it and this is what you do with it. I'm like, that's great, but that's not what I'm looking for. So if you really want to know how this stuff you would use it for like acne treatment or like natural bug sprays, let me know and I'll look into it more. I would actually really like to try and make the tea. However, I need these two plants. I know I'm only showing you one, but I do have another one. I actually need them to live. I tried actually planting these last year. It was the first time I had seen them. And I think a combination of where they ended up planted and the weather we had, they either ended up smothered by the other plants or they just burned. We've had a lot of problems with basil here the last couple of years. It just doesn't take, it burns, it ends up with a blight. So, hopefully this year, fingers crossed, they will live long enough and give me enough of a yield that I can try to make that tea. What is nice though, because if you are lucky enough that this should grow for you and you can collect a lot of it, you can freeze the leaves. So you can take these, you can wash them, you can dry them, or you can freeze them, or you can make your own pesto. Like you can mix them with olive oil. It kept saying that you could put them. I assumed it was like a pesto, but it might just be like an olive oil basil blend. Because it mentioned like putting them in ice cube trays with olive oil and chopping it up with basil. So it might be essentially like a pesto minus the pine nuts, or just like a basil olive oil blend that you can freeze and then pop out whenever you need them. That's not something I personally do. We're not big pesto people, so I've never tried that. And it wasn't something that really appealed to me, but freezing the leaves would definitely do. Or if you wanted to pack them in salt, if for whatever reason you don't want them in your freezer, you can try packing it in sea salt. Specifically, it mentioned sea salt, rather than regular table salt. So sorry. The flowers on this plant, I forgot to mention, are also edible. It produces like little purple flowers. If you can pinch them off soon enough and keep it from flowering, you can prolong the life of the plant. It's actually a handy little plant to have around. You can mix it up. You can plant different types of basil. You can plant different, so, mix it up a little bit, have something fun. If you're trying to plant a Gothic garden, this is a wonderful little handy addition. I actually have a couple of black petunias and a black and bloom in the garden right now. I don't know if it's been getting many visitors because of where it is. Unfortunately, you can't see it. So hopefully the butterflies have been enjoying it and the hummingbirds. I don't know if we have hummingbirds, but hopefully the butterflies have been enjoying the plant. So this will also attract bees and butterflies. So if you want to try and do like a butterfly garden, this could be an addition for that as well. So that's also something to bear in mind because it's good for pollinators and it depends on and it's a really nice little plant just to have depending on what kind of garden you want to have or what you want to have around. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, and it's got a lot of medicinal uses. So if you have stomach problems and you want to try and make a tea, this is actually a really great little plant to have. Will it clear up all of your stomach problems? No. If you're on prescription stomach medication, will you be able to get off it? No. But if it keeps you from having to reach for the over-the-counter medication, if you can cut down on the amount of Tums you have to eat in a day, or the Pepto-Bismol or the Imodium or whatever over-the-counter medication you're using, and this allows you a little bit more freedom and just so you don't have to use actual medications, that's a win in my book. Like if you can cut down on that, that's a most definite win. Um, you may still need them for really bad days or if it's stress related and not like food related, but it's definitely a win if you can cut down on having to use that stuff. And as someone that comes from a family with stomach problems, I would consider that a huge, huge win. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can go out and find some of your own little black basil plants or your dark opal basil, as it is actually called. So until we meet again, I need to go figure out where I'm going to plant these. So take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.